Go ahead and record. Every time, every time it startles me. We did our PTT meeting on Monday night and I had to do that. And everybody on the call was like, oh, it's really jarring. But welcome to the Team Nourished team call. It is Thursday, August the 12th. I was saying that I did not do a slideshow. So give me just a second here and I will pull one up. I was actually, before we got on, I had just a few minutes and I was working on my Power 30 because I have not finished it for the day. So I was plugging away. Oh, hi girls. I always love it when you pop up on a group and it's like, oh, hi. All right, so we're going to get started with some recognition tonight. It is still fairly early in the month. We're almost halfway through, but we have some things to recognize. So congratulations to our weekly top 5 this week. And that number, just in case you are not aware yet, or you're new watching the recording, anything like that. That number, the weekly top 5, is just comprised of women who are helping enroll other women in their boot camps or our boot camps. They're enrolling coaches or they have personal sales. So meaning like your girlfriend down the street's like, hey, I'm looking for a greens powder. And you're like, I have a great greens powder. And they order that from you. That goes into what's called personal volume, or EV now. And it's when people order from you. And so it's earned volume. And that is, a part of what gets you up here on the weekly top 5. So congratulations to our number 1 coach this week, Amanda Harold, and coming in at number 2 is Allie Lamb, and then Laura Costa, Carrie Summers, and Amy Myers. So congratulations, ladies, for getting up on the weekly top 5 board. Okay, and then obviously we have our Success Club board. So if you are unfamiliar, Success Club is just the measurement tool that Beachbody uses to show that people are enrolling with you. So they, whether that's a challenge pack, a completion pack, a home direct order of Shakeology, or a home direct order of a performance line stack, anything that's worth 90 PV or more, you get 2 Success Club points for. So congratulations to Carrie Summers and myself for being at SC4 so far this month. And then congratulations to Amanda Harrell, Chris King, Emma Shaw, Jesse Hancock, and Katie Crowther for being at SC2. So they have helped 1 person so far this month. We still have plenty of month to go. The other thing that I want to show you guys this. That's why I was pulling up. I'm going to go live and do an overview of it in our team page, but I know many of you on this call are Diamond or pushing for Diamond, which, by the way, this has nothing to do with that. Our new back office, if you feel like you cannot find anything or things are crazy or weird, it's okay. I also feel the same way. So we are having, with all of the preferred customer launch that just happened last week and Beachbody On Demand Interactive, all of our online systems have been changed and switched over. And so if you, like I said, if you don't feel like you know where things are, just click around or ask. I'm figuring it out as I go because there's been plenty of things that I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? But I wanted to come in here and show you guys this really quick tonight. So once you become Diamond, and that just means you have 12 coaches underneath of you. Well, really it's 8 coaches underneath of you, and then 2 of your coaches on either side are emeralds. And that can be an emerald that you created, like your spouse or your direct parent or an 18 or over child, or you can, one of your friends wants to jump on board and wants to help you out, or not help you out, but start their own business and do their thing. Like you help them get to emerald, because that's all that Diamond is. People think that it's some big scary thing, but honestly, it's literally just making yourself emerald over and over and over again, and then teaching your team to do the same thing or getting them on here. And I'm happy to teach them to do the same thing too. Like that's literally all this business is, no matter how high in rank you are. It's just a bunch of emeralds replicating over and over and over. So with that said, once you do get to diamond, you get what's called a road to elite report or a diamond report. And usually they come out on Friday, but today they came out today. And like I said, I always go live in our team page and give you guys a monthly rundown, since our team's big goal this year is to hit top 200 elite. And we're plugging away. We're closer than we were last month. Last month I was really discouraged because I got a call from my corporate mentor that, just a mid-year check-in. And she's like, I know that you guys will do it. I'm confident that you will pull it off, but just know that you are less than halfway there at halfway through the year. And I was like, oh God. So that was kind of the kick in the pants, I guess, I needed to really start diving back into, okay, how am I leading our team in a way that is going to produce duplicatable success? And so this is what that report looks like. And I am very proud to say we are now over halfway there, which is very exciting. But I wanted to run this down for you before we hop into tonight's topic. So this is the first thing you see on your report, and it is the road to elite. It used to be called the leader ladder, but now it's called the road to elite. And so it's a bunch of check boxes. And I was talking to my corporate mentor and a couple of other of like Beachbody corporate people. This was last year, about like what it was that I did last year that really got me where I wanted to go, got our team where we wanted to be. And I told them, I was like, the secret has been this road to elite. I literally set a goal at the beginning of the year to check off one new box every month. Like, as long as I knew I was checking off one new box every month, we would get there. And so that has been my agenda this year as well. The nice thing is they may have added the bod group in, but once you are in a bod group and you've got one running, or you're a co-admin in ours, all of that gets checked off. So that's like one big box, which is really nice. But with that said, each one of these has a different a different value assigned to it. So we did this month, like all the claps, all the excitement for our team did check off team leader this month, which is really exciting. Like I said, my goal was to be halfway there. Last month we weren't quite there, but we are over that hump now and headed into the end of the year. So I wanted to show you guys kind of what I look at when I go live and I show you guys that report and I talk to you about it. Or maybe you have your own goals and you're pushing for, elite or premier or team leader or team builder this year. These are the metrics that you need to be looking at. So this month we are sitting at number 278 in the entire organization. So over 450,000 teams of Beachbody teams. Team Nourished is number 278, which is really, really huge. That is, this entire year I keep I wanted to show you guys this because this is part of what I track. I'm a firm believer in, if you don't track it, you can't change it. And so this is something you can print off. Literally, if you go to this FAQ, it links you to this form and you can print it off. So I have this printed off and it's just the numbers each month in these metrics. And so one of the things I was going to say is this tells you exactly what you need to do for each one of those things, of each one of these things. Oh, but I know what I was going to say. So every month this year, except for one, well, we'll just do it this way. Every month this year, we've been in the top 400. 2 months out of this year, we've been in the top 200, guys. I know that we are capable of sticking in it and holding into the top 200 of the entire network. Like, that is a massive, massive accomplishment for our team to hit. Last year, we were at 254, I think was our, am I just making up a number that I just read? No. Okay. So we were at 254 at the end of last year. So that's huge. If we can rise over 50 spots in the entire network, like how amazing would that be? But we obviously have some work to do, but I wanted to kind of run down because I know several of you on this call are diamond or pushing for diamond and have access to this. Oh, that's interesting. This is new. First 2 personally sponsored coaches in the UK or France. Okay, I didn't know that was part of what they measured. So I obviously have none. We have no UK or France coaches on our team. If we did, that would be really neat. But anyways, you can read all of these things. This is what I wanted to show you guys. So in all of these categories right here, when it comes down to it, right here, this number has to be over 105. So that is, there's obviously other metrics up here. You have to have all these boxes checked to hit elite. But where it talks about leadership points for elite, this will have to be 105. And so right now we're at 54. So we're over halfway there, which I'm thrilled about. But that includes all of these numbers. So acquisition PV, and it goes into it. And I actually don't get tripped up about acquisition PV or APV for short, because to me, if you're constantly enrolling new people, you don't really have to worry about it. You're always going to max out. You max out in some of these categories. And so last year we actually maxed out in APV in August, which was really huge. But a lot of that had to do with the fact of COVID and everybody and their mother signing up for Beachbody On Demand at like in March and April, when everything shut down and all the gyms, went south. Beachbody On Demand was like the hottest ticket. And so APV maxed out super early. It's not normal for it to max out that early. But again, we're over halfway there. So I feel really good about not needing to like hyper track that number. These two are the ones that our team has a lot, or your team, if you're pushing for a goal on the leader ladder, that our team has a lot of impact on. So PS Coach Success Club means that any coach who enrolled in 2020 or 2021, and they hit Success Club, meaning Success Club 5 or more, your team gets 2 points in this category. If they're a brand new coach, so for example, we're in August. So if they signed up in July or August and they help one person, you get 1 point in this category. So for example, like Jessie Hancock, she enrolled at the beginning of this month, or I'm sorry, at the end of last month. I apologize. So at the end of last month, but she enrolled 1 person this month. So this coming time when they update this report, there'll be another, we'll have another point in that category. But if she helps 2 more people this month, we'll actually get 2 more in addition to that, which is a really huge deal. So brand new coaches, getting them started well and right is what really helps move the needle forward. So the other things, just, this is just for information's sake, as you continue to push and grow your own goals, these leadership max points and stuff like that, you get points when you get these points, and this is what affects your ranking. You get these points when someone on your team goes emerald and holds for 6 weeks, and someone on your team goes diamond or star diamond. You get 25 points each time that happens. So like when you guys, when we were at Summit and it's like, oh my gosh, Moira got to be the #1 coach in all of Beachbody. Well, yeah, she has 105 points, but she actually has way more than that because she maxed out all of these points. And she's now just earning and focusing on leadership points. So people hitting new ranks constantly, going up and up and up in that, if that makes sense. And if that helps you understand that. I just wanted to show you guys that while we were here in the back office and I could screen share. Whoops, not new share. Let's see. All right, I will stop share. Oh no, Kristen, I'm so sorry your audio isn't working. Hopefully it will get to working. Okay. Carrie says, I don't like that you can't search for a specific customer anymore when looking at that report. Well, do you want me to answer that now, or do you want me to answer that at another time, Carrie? Because I don't really understand your question, like who specifically you're looking for in what report. But just let me know if you want me to answer that here on the call for everybody, or if that's a me and you question. Okay, yeah, we can just figure that out later. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. I'm going to leave some time at the end for questions, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about morning process. Oh my gosh, it's really loud and we never have sirens, so that's super weird. Can y'all hear that? It's so loud. Sorry, I'm like super nosy. And like I said, we never, ever, ever have sirens. So that's very odd. Okay. Sorry, it's gone now. I don't know what the deal was. We live on this like teeny tiny little Navy base that nobody else lives on. So it's weird that there would be sirens. But okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about morning process because I was in my boot camp yesterday and one of the girls in there had asked about morning process. And I kind of like vaguely answered her. And then she private messaged me about it. And she's like, no. I want your specific, like this kind of thing. And I was like, oh, not that I don't ever not tell people on purpose. I just always, and if you caught my Instagram live or my live video in our boot camp yesterday, you've kind of already heard part of this. It'll be a little different and more specific to coaching. But I've always shied away from giving people an exact like replica of what I do because it's not always the exact same every single day. Like just know that, and don't try to, I don't know. I think it's an illusion to try to believe that like everybody always does the exact same things every single day for the exact same amount of time. And like, this is the prescription that we all follow. And the reason you're not succeeding is because you're not following this exact prescription. That's kind of part of the reason why I have not shared exactly what I do. And the other reason is, well, I guess that's two reasons in one. The other reason was that I don't want you to feel like you have to do the exact same thing as somebody else. I think that everybody's routine, it looks different. And that success looks different in that routine for different people. But the key unifying factor in all of that is that you have a morning routine. And I know that everybody's day looks really different. And there was a time in my life where I rolled my eyes at people that talked about morning routines. And I thought that was so stupid and they don't know my life and they don't understand and da 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 da. Like, I mean, I could have come up with 100 different whiny wheel things that I could say about somebody trying to convince me to do a morning routine. I had a baby, my kids don't stay in their bedrooms, they, like all the things. But the reality is, those are all excuses. Like, yes, they might be reasons as well for why this is different for you. But at the end of the day, you've got to establish a morning routine, or else the rest of your day, you're always trying to desperately catch up. And nobody thrives in that environment. Nobody thrives in the feeling, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I'm sorry. I'm such a squirrel and so nosy. But nobody thrives in that desperation. I had a call with a new potential coach today, and we were talking about the feeling of desperation, right? Like, it's interesting to me that some people feel the need to create desperation in their lives to get things done. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever met anybody like that, but like, it's almost like they have to invent drama in order to do something. Like, they can't just do it for the sake of doing it. They have to like invent some kind of drama in order to get there, to get their energy level there. And I guess in some respects, I maybe could have fallen in that category when I was younger, and a little less mature in, again, morning routine and just systemizing my life. But because I used to tell people, oh yeah, I thrive on a deadline, right? And I think that that's something a lot of people claim. But it's one thing to thrive on a deadline, and it's another thing to know that the deadline is 2 months away and you don't do anything until 1 month and 30 days before the last day, and whether that's in Success Club, whether that's in your weight, whether that's in your, I look at it like in your physical journey with like programs, right? You sign up for a program and you're like, okay, I'm going to get these kick-ass results and they're going to be amazing and da 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 da. And then you spend, like, if we're just talking 21-day fix, you spend 20 days like kind of half-assing and going along. And then day 21, you're like, I'm all in. I gotta do all the things. Like, oh, I'm gonna do 50 crunches so I can get like some kick-ass pictures, right? Or you do a 3-day refresh at the end of every program just to like highlight the progress kind of thing. And again, is that a way that things get done? Yes. Is that a sustainable way to run your life where you won't feel burnt out all the time? No, it's not. And so I would encourage you, I say all of that to say, to me, the morning process is where all of the sustainability of what you can do exists, because that's going to help prevent that burnout. It's going to help prevent you from feeling desperate either. I mean, and I say every month, but in reality, it's every week, every year, whenever there's some kind of milestone, you get desperate right before it. Like like I said, you just desperate. If you don't start your day out well, you kind of go through your entire day desperately trying to catch up, like desperately trying to fit it in, desperately trying to find time to do your workout or meal prep or something like that. And I've just found, and I know, like, I kind of feel like I'm preaching to the choir a little bit on with some of you girls on here, because I know some of you have a really well established morning routine, and I would love for you guys to share that. Michelle, you shared some in I think it was in our boot camp, but I know you shared it recently too, that really helps. But I do some things in my morning routine that I have found have been very beneficial, specifically for business. And again, I think everything translates outside of the Beachbody business too, but they really, really do help me with the Beachbody business aspect of this. So the first thing I do is I get up at between 4:45 and 5. My alarm is set for 4:45, and I would love to tell you that I get up without ever hitting the snooze every day. I don't. I hit the snooze. If there's 7 days in a week, I probably hit the snooze 5 out of the 7. But that's why it's at 4:45 and not 5:15 or not 5 o'clock. I set it at 4:45 so that I am up and ready by 5. So that means I have used the bathroom, I've brushed my teeth, I've taken my thyroid meds, and my workout clothes are on. I also, one of the things that I've always done is put my workout clothes on my, not bedside table, what's that thing called? Dresser every single night before I go to bed. I pull out my socks, I pull out my, and some of that really came as a function. And again, I think it's interesting to like think that all of this just happened, right? Like, oh, well, she just knew to do that. No, some of this is a function of our life. I don't want to disturb our closets are super loud. Like, they're really old style closets that are like every time you open it. So I get my socks out so I don't have to open my closet where the pull drawer is, right? Like, because I don't want to accidentally wake up my kids at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I lay out my socks, I lay out my shoes, I lay out my leggings, I lay out my top. Like, I have all of that sitting on my dresser the night before, so that as I'm walking to the bathroom, I literally just grab that pile and walk into the bathroom and put it on, in that moment. After that, I walk into the kitchen and I grab my Energize. That is the very next thing that goes into my body. Well, water and Energize. So I fill up that's the other thing that I do the night before. I try, just like food prep and meal prep and stuff like that, I try to do what I can the night before so that I am more successful the next day. So I have, it's not up here. I've been filling up my cup today instead of like toting around my big giant gallon bottle. I have a gallon sized water bottle. I went and bought a filtered water from the store when I was doing Ultimate Reset. And I bought a gallon of filtered water. It's nice, it's got a handle, it's like got a little screw top thing. And I just keep really refilling that every night before I go to bed. I refill it and I either put it in the fridge if there's room, or I just leave it on the counter. So that's already set up for success for the next day. Then I have my Energize. Then I go into my Lanai, and this is something that I mentioned on the recording that I did, but I would encourage you to find a spot in your house that is yours, that you are not co-sharing. You're not trying to get this in while your kids are asleep next to you in bed. You leave and you go and you set up a nice little area where you can be and have your time in your space. So for me, that's in our like little sunroom, our lanai area. And I know that my body knows that when I sit in that chair, we're going to be doing a couple of things. So the first thing I do is I read my Bible every single morning. I have like a journal that I keep, like a I don't know, I'm just reading it in a certain way and taking notes. I'm answering a couple questions for every passage of scripture that I'm reading, and I'm going through the entire Bible. So that's part of what I do. I'm also doing a Bible study that just, I don't know, I picked out one that I hadn't finished off of my bookshelf. I started it and hadn't finished it. So I was like, I'm going to finish this. And I do part of that. And that usually takes me about 15 minutes. So we're talking 6 to 6:15-ish. And then after that, I do gratitude, and I do that in my book of proof. You can do it. I mean, there's apps you can do gratitude on. You can just have like a little notebook. You can like whatever, there's one of the really popular ones is called the 5-minute journal. And you can order that on Amazon. It's really cute. I know a lot of people really like that one. I tried the app for a while, but for whatever reason, the book of proof really works for me. So I write for just a moment about how life is working out for me, how I see God working in my life every day. And so that's part of what I do, because again, it all sounds cute and kitschy, but what you're doing is training your brain, right? That's what we do in all of this stuff, is training your brain. So if you start training your brain to seek the good and see where things are working out, you find you complain a lot less. You find you're a lot less negative. You find you're a lot less cynical, because your brain is primed and ready to start looking for the good in all of it. So that is something that I am very, very adamant about every single day. And then after that, I use, and I guess, I don't know that you're going to be able to see the app on here. Yeah, you can. Look at that. The Insight Timer app. It's a meditation app. It's free. Beachbody On Demand also has fantastic meditations. I like Insight Timer because and maybe Beachbody On Demand has it, and I just haven't looked at it long enough to know. But I don't use a guided meditation in the morning. It's just literally like sounds and like tones that are calming. And I do my best. I don't know. It was actually, no, it was on Headspace. I was thinking it was on Insight Timer. It was on Headspace. They call them like a course, where it's like a series of videos on how to meditate without a guide. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, because I don't always want to be told what to do sometimes, or what to think, or what to dwell on. Sometimes I listen to a guided one and it's great. But other times I do my best to really sit in silence and just let that kind of empty the tank before everything else fills it up, and so that's part of what I do. And then I spend some time in prayer. So that usually takes me to about, I don't know, 6:30, 6:40. And then I pop on to social media. I usually check in with Instagram stories. I've gotten to where like I usually talk a little bit before my workouts, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 frames. I'm not very chatty in the morning a lot of times, but if I have something to say, I might say something or talk about my day or whatever. And then I get into my workout. My workout starts typically about 6:50. And then right now we're doing a 45-minute workout. So that lasts me until about 6:30, 6:35, 6:40 sometimes. And then my kids are up and we're out the door and we're going and we're breakfast, and I shut it all off. So I'm not playing with my phone. I'm not answering stories. I'm not looking at messages. And maybe you guys don't have issues with that. But when I became a coach, that was one of the boundary issues I had to work on, was not responding to every single ding on my phone. It was, like I said, maybe you don't struggle with that, and that's okay, but I definitely did. Like, the notifications for me were really hard to put away, because I'm like, well, if I don't answer that person, like, they won't sign up with me, or if I don't get back to them right away, they're going to get busy doing something else and I'm going to miss this opportunity. So like, I don't know what part of my psychology has that issue, but there's definitely an issue. And I've had to train myself not to respond to messages until I am ready to respond to them. Again, like I said, that's not every day. Some days I'm not good at it, but that's my ideal. Like, this is what happens. So then my kids get dropped off at school, and then I go into my Beachbody activities for the day. And so when I structure that, it looks a whole lot like the business activity tracker. Like, and I know I say that and talk about that a lot, but I basically go through that system. And right now I'm doing the Power 31. And so I sit down and I add people to my network. And then I sit down and I go through that. And again, I know that that is not everybody's system, and that's not everybody's way they're going to do things. But if you don't start it out right, you're always going to feel desperate throughout the day. Yeah, it just, I talk to so many people about that. And so I was thinking about that in the context of our boot camp, and in the context of growing our team, in the context of training you guys, and like, just how does that ripple effect spread? And I was thinking about how, if in your boot camps and with your clients, if you got them into a morning routine, like maybe you're really good at it, and maybe this is something you've been doing forever and ever and ever, but like if that became a part of what you taught in your boot camps and what you talk to your new challengers about, like how improved their life would be if they got on board with setting up some kind of structure. The other two things that I wanted to say, and like I said, this isn't a big long speech about this. I kind of just wanted to chat a little bit about stuff you guys have been experiencing too. The books that I read that were really impactful in this were Miracle Morning and the 5 a.m. Club. The 5 a.m. Club is I like that one less than I liked Miracle Morning, but I was talking to Cece and Jen about it, and they were like, oh my God, I liked 5 a.m. Club way better. I think it just comes down to personality and preference. I'm the kind of person that would prefer, like, just give me the information. I don't need a big long story about it. Like, can you just give me some bullet points of what I need to do? A PDF flyer would be helpful. And then like, I'll go forward. I don't really need like some kind of fake made up story. Like real people's stories, I actually really love, but fictional made up stories. And that's what the 5 a.m. Club, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically a self-development book, and Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible got merged into a book. And so there's like this like dramatic love story involved in it. And I don't know, I did not like it. I liked the concept of his book. I liked the 5 a.m. Club idea. I liked like how he broke it down, but I literally needed nothing more than a PDF of what he does. I didn't need the whole like Tom Cruise story behind it. But those are the two books that I found really useful. And if this is something that like you feel like, I feel like there's two different ways to approach this with building your boot camps and growing this. Either A, you need this, like you are lacking in a morning routine that helps you be productive, or you actually do a pretty good job at it and you need to start spreading the word and like helping other people build that into their lives. One of the ways that I found was really helpful in the beginning was doing a free group based around a morning routine. So I actually did Miracle Morning. I did a book club. This was, I don't know, Michelle, this might've been like right before you started, or it might've been when you started. I can't remember. But we did a book club for Miracle Morning, and everybody read the book, and we logged in our little accountability every night or every day, every morning in a side little free group. And Cece had, I don't know where she got it from. Maybe her husband made it on Excel. Like, I don't know, but she did a Miracle Morning tracker. And it was like these little, I probably still have one somewhere, but it was like these little boxes that you colored in. And like, I don't know, I had color pens and I would color them in. But Miracle Morning's way of doing it is to, his is based on an acronym called SAVERS. So it's silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, and scripting. So it's very, very similar to what I was talking about. The other thing I left off was when I do my, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this because I feel like it's one of the most important parts about the morning process. When I go into my Rise Up Planner to do it, I also go to my page where I have my vision written out. So I know several of us, and maybe all of us on this call have written out a vision of like what we want to see happen in our business, what we want to see happen in our lives, what we want to, how we want our family and our home and our community and all of that to feel. That is part of what I read every day before I go into meditation and prayer. And that just helps me remember again, like why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because again, it can kind of feel monotonous when you've been doing it forever and ever. But back to the Miracle Morning thing. So that's what we did for a free group. And it was really fun. And we like assigned a chapter every day or some page count or something like that. But it was a really fun way for people to start building that into what they're doing. Yes, I can give you a link for the Rise Up Planner. I really like the Rise Up Planner. I find it very, very helpful. I've used several different planners, but this has been my favorite one. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like she combined all of what I like and what I was doing in lots of other places into one planner. So it's been very helpful for me. So that is what I wanted to talk about for morning process. And the last little thing is just if it is a thing you struggle with, be sure you consider how you're setting yourself up the night before too. Like I said, Michelle, you had shared in our group about like how you set out your water bottle and your Energize and like all your stuff is right there. So, and I don't know about your new setup in your house because you're working out in your garage, but like your old house, you would move your coffee table the night before. So you didn't even have to do that in the morning. Like that's the kind of stuff when you think of what are these small things that I could do that take 30 seconds on your way to walking to bed? Like no matter how tired you are, you can push a coffee table over, that will give you just a little bit of an edge for that next day. And guys, that can be, I think looking at any of the struggles that you have, whether that's in setting up a morning routine, or if it's meal prep or exercise, or if it's the business stuff, like whatever, I'm going to call it a deficiency, but that's not really the word I mean. It's more like whatever area of growth you have in this, you've got to do something the day before that's going to make that better for you. So if that's in the business, what can you do start brainstorming? What can you do the day before that's going to make it easier for you the next day in your business? So that, I think of like one of the things here with this. So one of the things you can do that would make this easier is instead of every single day you sit down to do your Power 30, you think of maybe the night before or, sometime the day before, like, where am I looking to add to my network? So like if it's a Facebook group that you want to go through the members of and see if there are people that are like-minded, write that Facebook group down, because it right now, like you have this idea right now, but tomorrow when it comes time to do it, you've forgotten, right? Like you completely, you're like, I don't know. I don't remember what I was trying to do yesterday. Or maybe you write down all the people you want to invite on this planner, and then you start going through. So instead of writing down the names as you invite them, maybe you need a system where you write down the names of the people before you invite them, so that when you have 5 or 10 minutes, you can just go to that list and go, okay, Ashley L, and you can just bust through that list so it doesn't take you as long. Maybe your issue is posting on social media. How can you come up with a way that will set yourself up for success the next day? When you have extra time, can you make a reel and save it in your drafts so that you can just auto post it? One of the things, and again, this is a really great little section in here, and I use it intermittently. Sometimes I don't use it, but sometimes I do. And when I was struggling with posting on social media, I would go through right here. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I would write what I'm going to post about. So if I needed to write about, meal prep Monday, I would write meal prep Monday. If I'm going to do transformation Tuesday, so that way when the time came for me to post that next day, I wasn't like, oh my God, I don't know what to post. I don't have any inspiration. I can't think of anything. You can set yourself up for success the night before. Yes. And I love that. You're setting an appointment with yourself. Like, preach that more and more and more and more. Like, I want that to be like the thing you're well known for, is like, I do the things today that are going to set me up for success tomorrow. Like, that is such an impactful way to live, and an intentional, again, like, think about it this way. What if everyone you knew lived like that? Like, how much better would this world be if every single one of your Facebook friends or Instagram friends or neighborhood friends or people at your church, if everyone lived in that way, we wouldn't have a job, basically. So, because they'd be living these amazing intentional lives where things are working out because they've done the work prior. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. And even just an encouragement that if you are struggling with your morning process, just don't overthink it. Just start doing it the very next day. You don't have to overthink it, but get plenty of sleep the night before. And then that also helps big time. That's been my thing. It's like blowing my mind. And I don't know if it's 6:45. Like, I don't know if maybe the ladies who are also doing 6:45 can tell me if you guys are, it's not suffering, but I feel like suffering in this way. At like 9:30, I am done. Like, I cannot keep my eyes open anymore. I don't know if it's the like muscle exertion from 6:45 combined with like being really committed to getting up, by like being ready and out of my bedroom by 5. But man, at 9:30, I'm like, I cannot keep my eyes open. So it's good because I'm like making sure I go to bed then instead of like sitting up and hanging out, or falling asleep on the couch. But I don't know if that's, like I said, if that's 6:45 or if that's me or what's going on, but I've definitely been sleepy. That's really all I had prepared for tonight's call. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about with preferred customer or body or the back office? Carrie, I can see what I can do to answer your question about the, what did you say? You can't search for a specific customer anymore in the back office. I don't know. Michelle, do you want to talk about your morning routine while I look for that?
I can, sure.
Yeah.
I really don't do a whole lot, but I prep several things the night before. My Energize and collagen on the counter with my cup and the straw. My water bottle is full. I have my book. I read in the morning, so I have my book ready to go, and my tablet that I use to get on Zoom and work out with the Zoom crew. And I make sure my watch is charged. I have my shoes right there on the floor next to all my stuff. And so that's all the night before. Oh, my workout clothes are always on the bathroom counter. So my shorts, my tank top, my sports bra, my socks, even like my hair stuff, like whatever I'm going to use in the morning, it's just piled right there next to the sink. So then when I go downstairs, everything's out and ready. And then I work out in the garage. So I do have to, we park the car in the garage. I have to move the car out, and then I have to lay the mats out on the ground. But I get all that set up, and I have my workout screen on and like ready to push play. But then I sit down and read for 15 to 20 minutes. And I actually sit on the floor in the garage. I don't know. That might change when the weather gets cold. But I love to open the garage, and there's no sun yet. It's dark, it's quiet, it's peaceful. I can hear the soldiers off in the distance doing their PT and chanting, and there's nobody to bother me. So I sit in the quiet and read before I start my workout.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned reading personal development, because I know that that's been something you've struggled with in the past. And I love that you're committed to adding that into your day. And again, I don't think any one way is better than another. There's been lots of years where I read my personal development in the morning. I just have gotten to where I listen to it on audio on my drives now. So that's been how I've like when I go pick up the kids from school on my drive there, that's where I have quiet time. And so I listen to that. So to me, I think it's great that you're doing it in the morning when you're undistracted and your mind is fresh and you're filling yourself with things that are improving you. I think more coaches than not, like if you listen to national wake up calls and they talk about like, I can't tell you how many coaches I've heard say the exact same thing. Well, I bucked personal development for the longest time and I didn't read it and I didn't think I needed it or I didn't like it. And then when I finally started, things, like improved in that area. And like, you're in good company. You know, if that's something you struggle with, you're in good company. That's really something that most people do. What are you reading right now, Michelle?
Daring Greatly by Brene Brown.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And it seriously, I feel like every little 15 minutes that I read, I'm like, this is like my life. Like every thought process, like or struggle with the business side, I
Mhm.
read something, I'm like, oh shoot, that just totally aligned with what I was feeling.
I
So
know.
it's been perfect so far.
It's miserable, isn't it? It's miserable to be so seen. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny. I was there was some message thread, not message thread, like comment thread. I think it was in the round table they were talking about, and they were like, what are like, can you list your Enneagram number and what the books that like really resonated with you in your Enneagram number, like personal development per Enneagram number, right? Like, so it's like, okay, you're an 8. These are the books that you're probably going to like and be seen and heard, you know, through. And it was funny because I was like, oh, that's funny. I've never thought about viewing personal development in that way. But as a fellow 8 who struggles with vulnerability and shame and, you know, just everything, that book was like every single person that listed themselves as an 8, it was like daring greatly, gift of imperfection, daring greatly, daring. I'm like, yep, Brene Brown gets it. Like she totally. So I need to go back and like see if they ever compiled like 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and I'll share that with you guys because it was really good. I'm reading it's called The Road Back to You right now. It's about the Enneagram. And I actually pushed it off. It was one that a friend of mine had encouraged me to read several, like, I don't know if it's months or years ago, but probably last year. And I was like, no, like, I really am not that into the Enneagram. And I'm really not. Like, I think it's a cool tool. It's interesting to note. I think it's helpful and kind of funny when you see different memes and like all of that. But I started listening to it and I love it. It's so good. And I think it's hysterical that the first 2 numbers that he like goes for are 8s and 9s, which is me and my husband. And I'm like, great. So this is marriage counseling 101. I have Matt reading it too, because I'm like, you need to read this. This is about me and about you. So it's been really, really good. Carrie, I also do not see where you can search. I could have sworn that you could, that someone had written down where you could. So I'm going to do some more investigation into that. And I'm going to ask in the VIP chat and in the roundtable to see what they say. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you on that because that is really annoying. And I'm disappointed that that's the way it is right now because I use the search a lot, a lot, a lot. Anybody else have any other questions or things they want to say or talk about or any of that good stuff? How is 6:45 going for you? What is it? Just unmute yourself.
I love it.
I do too. I can't believe I love it. I really did not think I would. And I really, really, really do. Like a lot, a lot. I'm very surprised that I loved it. I was talking to Emma Shaw about it. Was it last night? No, Tuesday night at the Bible study. And so she was in the test group and she got to do the entire thing. And she was asking me how I liked week 3. And I was like, this has been my favorite week because I have gone so far up in strength gains in just this week. It's amazing to see, like, and for whatever reason, like he has built my confidence for lifting heavy more other than like Joel, because Joel's really good at it too. But like I see him grab a 50 and I'm like, oh damn. All right, we're doing that, aren't we? We're doing that. And I'm obviously not going to grab a 50 to do like rows with, but I'm like, I could grab 20s. I could do that. Whereas I feel like in Autumn's program, like 9-week control freak and some of the other ones, I go lighter for whatever reason.
Autumn doesn't lift heavy.
Yeah. I mean, not that you have to, and that's okay.
Right.
Like, you don't have to, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to lift heavy and feel like I was doing those hip thrusters with 35s yesterday, or no, Tuesday. And I was like, that feels cool. Like, I felt powerful and strong, and it felt really good. So I liked it. Heads up for next week's call. You got to get heavier weights, man. I'm telling you, the click weights are helpful. I really like the clicky ones. And I thought it was really cool. Not that, I mean, we don't need this for any specific program, but I was at a friend's house, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, and he had a click weight barbell. So it's the same Bowflex system, but it's a barbell. So it's the long one, and you can click, heavier and lighter on there, which I thought was really cool. Not that I need a barbell for anything, but I just thought it was neat. Next week on our team call, it's going to be a product training. So just heads up. And if you want to encourage anybody on your teams and your downlines to hop on, I'm going to be doing a training on the 3-day refresh, because we are going to be hosting a group team wide with Jen and Cece, a 3-day refresh group that will start right after what is it called? Labor Day. There you go. So it will start on the 7th. So it'll be obviously you can do the 3 days whenever fits your schedule, but we're going to do it the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I thought that would be fun to be able to do that and drive volume and get people started with that in their fall, whatever. I'm just having to start talking about it and prepping it a lot earlier, I feel like, than other people, because in Hawaii it takes so long to get stuff here. Like, I have to look out 2 weeks ahead of whatever I want to do so that my people will get it in time. My local people anyway. So we will be doing that as a team. And then I think if there's anything else you guys need to know that's upcoming. I do not think so. It's the 19th. Yeah. And I'm looking for a day that will work for Callie. I traded calls with Callie Calabrese, Autumn's sister, who is another elite coach. I spoke on her team call a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. I don't know. Things are getting blurry. But she asked if she could do a team call for us. And I was like, why, yes, you can do a team call for us. But I need to find a time when a lot of people are going to be on the call, because I don't want to invite a guest speaker. No offense to you guys. I love you guys. But for 4 people, we need a bigger turnout for a guest speaker. So yes, thank you, Mara. So anything else before we close up tonight? No? Convinced someone would it? I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, well, good. I'm glad you encouraged them to not stop their Shaco. That's good. They need to drink it. I always ask in our group, I'm like, why are you not drinking your Shaco? Why? You have it sitting on your counter. Why won't you just drink it? It's the craziest thing to me. But okay. Oh, good. That's wonderful, Mara. That's, yeah, I mean, that's the way it starts. You got to trickle down, All right, ladies. Well, if nobody has anything else, I love you guys, and I'm glad to hear you're getting back on track. Yes, for sure. I know I feel like, well, and actually it's kind of interesting. Before we close, I'll say this, and I thought this was kind of an interesting thing to note when I was on a FaceTime with a girl who's looking at becoming a woman. She's not a girl. She's 58. Like, she's a woman. I don't know why I called her a girl, but looking at becoming a coach on our team. And she said something, and it kind of like sparked a little like light bulb for me. And she was like, we did not get to see our family. She's talking about her own personal family. She's like, we didn't get to see our family for 18 months straight. She's like, we had not seen them for 18 months. And she's like, and then the summer hit, and we were like, all right, things are open back up. We can travel again. And she's like, all we did was like back to back to back to back to back. Like, we got to see them, and we got to see them, and we got to see them, and we got to see them. And I remember at the beginning of the summer, I had said something to you guys probably, but also I know I said it in the roundtable group about, like, I feel like it's hurting cats, getting people to like focus on like, do you want to do a boot camp? Do you want to join my coaching team? Do you want to do this? Like, I felt like everybody was like scattered. And when she said that today, I was like, I bet you that's what a lot of people have been doing. It's like they opened the door, and like, even though you would have normally stayed home and done like a normal summer and done like one trip, people have this like desire to like get out and do and see, and like, I got to make up for all this lost time. So I was like, oh, I bet that's the feeling that people have been feeling, lately. So it's kind of interesting to me to note, because I feel like, yeah, you went all the places. Pops. Oh, they didn't come. Yeah. Sundays and traveling. Yeah, same. I mean, I feel like no matter where I go and what I do, even in jujitsu, like we have these like weird ebbs and flows of when people show up, and like then everybody is traveling, or like church attendance. It's like the congregation will be really small, and then the next week it's really big, and then it's small, and it's like, this is so crazy. There's no consistency with any of it. So all right, ladies. Well, I am going to hop off here unless anybody has any other questions. Carrie, I will get back to you on the customer report when I ask about that in the group. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.